Welcome to Toffee TV. Me and Ed are going to have a chat about Farhad Moshiri's apology. Our owner sent me a lovely email saying, "Dear Barry, I apologise personally," until I realised he sent it to everyone.
Yeah.
No, obviously he came out with a statement or a letter of apology, call it what you will, referencing obviously the Crystal Palace game, but talking about it should not be allowed to disguise the fact we have underperformed in what proved to be a very challenging campaign. He went on to say, "Mistakes have been made, and for that I want to apologise to all of you. It has not been good enough and we need to do better. You have given us incredible support that helped us over the line when we needed it most, and we must repay that support and show lessons have been learnt. I'm committed to the future success of the football club by delivering a fully funded stadium that will underpin our status as a leading club." Goes on with that. Talks about a strategic review of our operations. It's included looking at working practices, recruitment processes, blah, blah, blah. Talked about the appointments of Frank Lampard, Kevin Thelwell, and obviously referenced the Ukrainian war as well. I mean, what did you make of the apology, or the letter, rather?
When I first saw it, I thought, well, it's fan engagement and it's what we've been asking for. It's communication. We want them to communicate with us, so you can't knock him for doing it. The only thing is, you're obviously going to, and I'm probably just being, I don't even mean bitter, but, you know, I was sat there thinking, it's communication. Is it meaningful? Is it organised? Is it really done by him? But communication. He's not going to come round my house and pat me on the shoulder and tell me everything is okay. It's what you're going to get. It's fan engagement. It's also what we've been getting, you know, more recently. And I think it's you know, he's been here quite a few years now, and it's been going wrong for a few years. I think you know, he hasn't quite achieved what he set out to, especially by now, after being, you know, at the club for what, 7 or 8 years has he been here? 7 years, 6 years. So I think for him now is great. He's come on, apologised well. The good thing about it was he's acknowledged that this isn't one of those, you know, because he mentioned that, you know, they're coming back from 2-0 down. It's pretty much said, yeah, let's not paper over the cracks. We've had a poor season, it's not good enough. And I'm happy they've acknowledged that, because there's us thinking, I hope they don't count this as one of the good times, because it's simply not. So the fact that he's come out and recognised he has to apologise to us, you know, that's correct. You know, when we talked about in the past them doing strategic reviews, we're thinking, how can they? I don't really trust these fellas to review themselves. They've acknowledged that we've been so shambles, and it's clearly not good enough for them. The fact that he's come out and apologised to us, so it's good. If it's a real meaningful apology, then you're gotta go and make changes now. Go and back it up. Go and appoint some experts. Go and do things differently to how you've been doing them, because for the past few years, it's not been good enough at all. So if this is a real meaningful message to the fans, go and back it up. You've got the chance to this summer, even though, you know, financially we're restricted, but you got a chance now after this summer to make changes and improve things going forward, because we've got a stadium in 2 years. Things have to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. I agree with a lot of that, to be honest. I think it's good. I think communication's important. I don't think there's any question about that. I think it is important to do. I agree with what you said as well. Is it a fluff piece? A bit of it is, of course it is. Does he have to do it? No, I don't think he did have to do it. He didn't have to. We wanted it, and I appreciate the fact that he's done it. Does it go far enough? I know for a lot of people it doesn't go far enough, and the proof will very much be by the evidence of what moves on. It's okay saying we've made mistakes. We need to do better. Well, how are we doing better? How are we correcting our mistakes? Is everybody still in place when we were making mistakes? And I know that they will turn around and say, well, we put a new board in January or late December, and you know, you've got to give us a chance to do our work, blah, blah, blah. And I know for some people that ain't going to be good enough. I know that people want certain people replaced on the board, you know, the CEO, they want the chairman replaced. I think a lot of Evertonians would subscribe to that as well. But even if they're not going to do that, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We need to still go and get more people involved. This is still a business that is losing money. So we need to be doing better, much better. We need to, for me, I don't understand why we haven't gone and got someone who works at a top company, bring them into the football club, put them on the board if need be, or put them working with Denise Barrett Baxendale or whatever, and get someone in commercially who's got evidence of performing at the highest level. Someone who can get Everton in the room with certain people to help us grow as a football club. Someone who can go, we do this is how we drive this football club forward. Yes, there might be good people there already. Maybe, I don't know the ins and outs of it. But bring in people who've got that experience, who have already working at top companies. Give them good wages. We pay other people good wages at the football club, so give them the wages to drive this football club forward. And who knows, by bringing better people in, you may get the best out of the people you've got around. And he has to do that because there's got to be more evidence. I'm glad, going through the statements, he referenced the Kevin Thelwell stuff. Okay then, Farhad, stay away from it then.
Yeah.
Keep your super agents away. Let them put a structure in place. Let them follow that. We've already seen changes at under 23 level. We've seen the fact Everton are ready to recruit, ready to appoint a new head of recruitment. Now it was down to the last couple of people. That'll be imminent, that announcement. Under 23 head coach, the announcement will be soon as well. We've already brought Kevin Nicholson in, who's a coach educated and things like that. So there is some things, you know, running through. I know that Paddy Boylan has done a piece in The Athletic today about the changes at commercial level and, you know, Everton are trying to have they've got an office in London and doing all that kind of. That's all well and good. It is. That is good, positive steps. But still, for me, still need the pieces on top of that. And that, if I was Farhad Moshiri or if I was Denise Barrett Baxendale or whatever, I would be looking to appoint some real leading place. There will be people in top companies. And I'm not I'm sitting here as an Evertonian. I'm not a businessman. But when we spoke to people, I've seen, like the Esk will say it. The Esk will, when he does his blogs or when he's on stuff, will always say we need better people. John Blaine says it regularly. We need better people in there to try and pull this thing up as well. So go and do it.
Yeah, certainly better people around them. And I've mentioned before with the strategic reviews, and I think it might have been December time. We got told by the board was doing it themselves, and you're thinking at the time these aren't the best people to be. What we need is to go and get people with experience and proven that they are probably better for the job, or at least should be added to the board to get that experience. So I've done this at this top company, not necessarily a football club. It'd be great if it was sports based, but I don't know, someone who's like gone and turned this supermarket into incredible thing. It's how a business is run. Coming in and say you are not running at this business correctly, and you lose money every year. So, and you can still have those people around, like you said, and obviously the Kevin Thelwell thing, he's come in, and he seems to have a bit more power. He's implementing his philosophy into the club, and hopefully Moshiri's learned his lesson not to get involved, because we've seen that with Marcel Brands. He came in and it was very unclear what was down to him and what wasn't. Was he doing stuff to accommodate the owner, accommodate managers? I think with Thelwell, I think we're getting more of a clear idea. We've seen he's come in, we've seen people leave the club. David Unsworth, other the coaches, and we've seen other people come into the club to add to a big team of coaches. So I think we should do the same with the board now as well. Make the board bigger, get people more experience in, more commercially experienced board members, and try and make the most of it. Try and make real change, because I think Farhad knows by now you can't do it all by himself, because he's not an expert. So I think for many years he's been trying to. He's been leaving it up to himself or the people who aren't qualified for that job. And it's like you wouldn't build a house yourself. You'd hire, if you had the money, you'd hire the builders to do it for you. Like with the stadium, we've got the group building the stadium, so why not do the same with the club?
No, I agree. I mean, he's right, isn't he? His biggest legacy will be the stadium.
Yeah,
it's what we've needed, and we've seen all the stuff that's going on at Bramley Moor, the latest, the cranes, and it looks fantastic. We will be doing a video on that probably next week, by the way. It looks fantastic and all that's brilliant, but he could probably do himself a favour as well by letting people just get on with their jobs now. I think that could be one of the biggest things he does. You've got to keep questioning the football club, of course you have. You've got to keep demanding better. Like I've just said before, try and bring a couple more people in at the top level for me, on a business side, someone at a huge commercial portfolio, or a retail portfolio, or a sports club. We've done that with Kevin Thelwell, who's someone who's worked in a sports environment. We've kind of done it a little bit with, it's kind of like the route that Tim Cahill's trying to go down now, and we know that he was used as a consultant, but Everton could go that little step further, I think, and bring in some real people who could drive the football club forward and work with what we've got. But for the owner, definitely has to just allow people to get on with the job and not, interfere when you're bringing in, like I say, people who are coming in and going, this person, male or female, has worked at this top brand. You see it with documentaries, like I watched the Bayern Munich documentary and things like that. They have people in who are like worked in Adidas, and then the next minute he comes into Bayern and he's running their commercial side because he's in the room. Liverpool did it to a certain extent with Peter Moore, brought him in from EA, and he helped them. And Everton could do it on a smaller scale maybe, but with someone who's got that experience. And I hope that's what he does next, because that needs fixing for me.
Yeah, well, as well as it's the club's money, but it's Moshiri's money to put into the club. So if he wants, he's obviously losing money at the moment. He wants to, he wants to really grow and have success that he wants. Then give your money to the best people possible. Leave it in the hands of people who will utilise it and get the most out of them. Otherwise, the experts, and then in football terms, stay out of it, because we've been making mistakes for so long with other people getting involved in transfers, and like the El Ghazi thing was only a few months ago, and by now after 6 years you should have well learned that it should be down to who's in charge of the football and signings that have an effect on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. So, listen, it's the way I see it, like you said right at the start. Communication's a good thing. I think it's good he's talking. Could he have gone a bit further? Maybe, but we need to. I just want evidence now rather than words.
Just back it up. Yeah.
I want to see us backing it up.
Just before we finish, do you think the 27 campaign this season has had a massive effect on how the board and Farhad Moshiri, because we seem to be getting a bit more fan engagement? Do you think it's because it's down to campaigns like the 27 and the protests around the stadium and fans voicing how unhappy they are?
Yeah, I think definitely I think what they did was they let the board and the owner know that we weren't happy, and people had had enough, and it is too long for a football club like Everton to be without a trophy. And I think, sometimes, you have to let them know. I think the first time since he's been here that people have really stood up and gone, actually, we ain't happy with this. It is our football club after all. Yes, you have got the money and you own it and all that, and that's fantastic, but it's our football club, and this is not what we want to see. So I think the 27 campaign absolutely played a huge part in. We saw it with even things like the Vitor Pereira thing, when he was looking like he may be appointed, or even getting Rafa Benitez out. I think they played a huge part in awakening that. I think the football club has listened later on in the season when it knew it had to, and it listened to people like the fans, Barry and the fans forum, and Hans Tours and the 27 were involved in that, and the originals and all of that, and they come together, and the club did work together with them to give us that atmosphere. The club have to engage with the fans. They have to listen, because it is our club, and we want what's best for it, and I'm quite sure the people there want what's best for it, but it hasn't been quite the same level. So I think, yes, the 27 definitely woke the board up. Definitely had to. It had to, and they can't be comfortable, but we've all want the same thing, and that's why I'm saying I would really like a couple of extra people to come in, external people to come in with good portfolios. You've got evidence of working at these top companies and help us drive the football club forward, because I think that's what we need. We need to increase everything. And what the other thing as well, finally, and I'm a bit disappointed he never referenced it, and I've seen it on another business plan with it. There's 25,000 on the waiting list. This 52,888 nonsense has got to stop at Bramley North for me. It's got to be 55 at the very least. Yes, ideally, yeah, it'll go to 60 or 62 if this happened and that happened. It's got to be 55,000 at least on day one for me, and I hope that that's the next thing that they look at.
And there's,
it's going to be too
and there's
small.
no saying that we're going to, like, our ratio season ticket holders to full capacity is very, very high. There's no saying it's going to be the same. But I mean, if you want to exploit, match day tickets and stuff, because we're going to have a lot more. It's in the city, isn't it? And you're going to attract a lot more tourists, especially if you want to grow as a club. Commercially, you're going to probably have a less of a ratio, to be honest.
The other thing as well, if we leave it at 52,888, it becomes only by the time it's done, I think it's only the 10th highest capacity, which is, it almost makes a mockery
you want it to
of
have a big name,
so
big,
it's,
one of the biggest stadiums.
I just personally think 55,000 would be the right place to start. I think the King's Dock, all those years ago, when you were probably weren't even a twinkle in your dad's eye,
toddler
was
early 2000s, wasn't it?
Right,
So toddler.
That was going to be 55,000. So there's no way we should have gone back. So that's just my little moan at the end of that. But communication good. Could it gone further? Maybe. Do we need extra people brought in externally? For me, yes, we do. But keep the communication going. And let's hope we can finally move forward and let the people who you've put in place to do the jobs. Yeah. That's what I would say. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. What do you think of it? Was it a fluff piece? Were you happy to see some communication? Does the communication need to be better? Does there need to be any communication at all? I've seen a few people saying he doesn't have to communicate. I don't think there's any harm in communicating and letting people know what the plan is. Let us know in the comments section below. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, and if you want more videos, join us on Patreon. See you later.